Welcome back to Forest Hills Golf Course here. My name is Trey Gnewikow. I'm the I'm the Pro Shop Manager and the Assistant Head of Golf here. Gonna go over, we've been running our Tip of the Week series for the last couple months. Now we're gonna kind of shift this week to a Rule of the Week. As we get into high school events, different things like that. College teams are even starting to, as we got the UWL that practices out here at Forest Hills, Viterbo at times as well. We want to be able to mark our ball properly if we're playing in a tournament, or even if we're just playing with our buddies, to make sure the ball gets out of the way so it's not in their line, but we can also move it if it is in their line with different things as well. So a couple rules for that. I got my golf ball I just hit up here, maybe a little closer than I usually do, but I got it set up all ready. So if I were to mark my ball, I can set it right behind the ball. And I set it right there. So you can use anything to mark your ball as long as it doesn't get moved by like the wind or natural forces. So obviously you want to put something that wouldn't be in the way of your playing partners. So you wouldn't want to put like a salt shaker or a checker piece or something big that the ball couldn't roll over, because then it's nothing different than just moving your ball. So you want something small. So I got my lucky key today. A lot of people maybe use like a poker chip or even just a lucky quarter. And there's all sorts of different things with ball markers. If you're ever interested, we got some in the pro shop with our logo on it. You can buy them at all different courses. It's whatever you think is kind of lucky, whatever you like using, that works perfect. Now let's say I was in the way of my playing partners. Their ball was back over there and my marker's in the way of them, so I can move it as long as I make sure to move it back. So in order to move it, you want to point it at something. So we got this big old tree here that we're going to point it at. So I get to set my putter right there, point it at the tree, and I'm going to set it there, and I can move it now one putter head. Maybe the break is really extreme and you can move it 2 or 3, but usually within one putter head, unless you got a really tiny putter, that is enough to get it out of your playing partner's lines, because you can move it either direction, right or left. The most important thing to not incur a stroke penalty is to move it back before you hit. So a little tip I like to use, my key's the same on both sides, but a quarter works awesome, or any kind of penny dime, because you have heads and you have tails. So you always mark it on heads. If you ever have to move it, flip it to tails, and just know you will never hit a putt when it's on tails. It always has to be heads for you in order you to hit a putt. So if it's on tails, obviously you got to move it back in the direction that you moved it to. So that's like coins and quarters, or a poker chip with 2 different things on each side tend to work great. Or maybe initial one side of your poker chip. That way you remember that's your no putt side. That way you never get the 2-stroke penalty of putting your ball in the improper spot. So now my playing partner hit and I can move my ball back. So I go back over to it, I point it at my target I set it up to, and then I can move it right back and I'm all set to go. So now my ball can be here. I can be all ready to make the stroke. As we get set up there, I set my line and I pick up my ball marker and I'm all set to go. Now there's one little rule that the PGA talked about this year, is you can actually use your putter to speed up the process if your line's down wrong. So if I get over my ball and I don't like my line, I feel uncomfortable, I can then change my line by just setting my putter right behind it. Now I got to make sure to not move my putter, but I can lift up my ball, I can fix my line, and then I can hit my shot. It's just a little bit quicker than pulling your marker back out of your pocket, setting it down, lifting up the ball, putting it back in your pocket. Just helps a little bit with pace of play. Feel free to use your putter head, just don't do it. Just don't move it, and then you should be all set to hit your putt here. As we go to finish, now that putt was hit with a legal stroke. Don't incur any kind of a stroke penalty. I hit a line that I felt comfortable in and all was set to go. So that's a little bit of a thing with marking your ball, helping moving out of your player partner's way, moving it back into your playing partners or back into your line after they've hit, and you should be all set to hit your shot and not incur any penalties and just have fun using maybe a different marker here and there, finding what's lucky for you. But thanks for joining us out here at Forest Hills. Again, my name is Trey Gnewikow. Feel free to come buy some ball markers at our shop or find something lucky your own. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.